Let me shift to another topic raised by Senator Leahy, Section 215. 10 years ago, I first introduced legislation known as the SAFE Act. It was a bipartisan bill to reform the Patriot Act. My co-sponsors included Senators Chuck Hagel, John Kerry, and Barack Obama. My most significant concern with 215 was that it would be used to obtain sensitive personal information of innocent Americans who had no connection to any suspected terrorism or spy activity. When the Patriot Act was up for reauthorization in 2005, I worked to establish a new standard for 215, and under this standard, the FBI would have broad authority to obtain any information, even tangentially connected to a suspected terrorist or spy, such as the examples used in the Zazi case. 702 information could have led to 215 phone record information on any suspect. But under my provision, innocent Americans with no connection to any of these activities or suspects would be protected. The Republican-controlled Senate approved my reform to 215 unanimously. However, the Bush administration objected. It was removed in the conference committee. 2009, I tried again with no success to put this protection of innocent Americans back into the Patriot Act. Now that the cloak has been lifted by media reports that the NSA obtained phone records of millions of innocent Americans with no connection to terrorism. The data includes the numbers of both parties to the calls, the location of the callers, the time and duration of the calls. I've been briefed on these programs, and I obviously won't discuss their details here, but it appears to me the government could obtain the useful information we need to stay safe and still protect innocent Americans. My question to you is this. Section 215 can be used to obtain, quote, any tangible thing, close quote. That could include medical records, internet search records, tax records, credit card records. Last year, the government filed 212 Section 215 orders. That's an increase from 21 such orders in 2009. So clearly this authority is being used for something more than phone records. So let me ask you, do you think Section 215, giving you authority to secure tangible things, could include the categories of information that I just listed?
We don't. I don't use those, so I'm not aware of anything that goes that. That would be outside of NSA. All we use this for today is the business records FISA. I would point out, and just want to characterize something that you said here. As you know, this was developed, and I agree with you, we all had this concern coming out of 9/11. How are we going to protect the nation? Because we did get intercepts on Midar, but we didn't know where he was. We didn't have the data collected to know that he was a bad person. And because he was in the United States, the way we treat it is he's a U.S. person. So we had no information on that. And if we didn't collect that ahead of time, we couldn't make those connections. So what we create is a set of data and we put it out here. And then only under specific times can we query that data. And as you know, Senator, every time we do that, it's auditable by the committees, by the Justice Department, by the court, and by the administration. We get oversight from everybody on this.
I'm over my time, but here's the point. If you knew that a suspect had made a call into area code 312, the city of Chicago, it certainly defies logic that you need to collect all of the telephone calls made in the 312 area code on the chance that one of those persons might be on the other end of the phone. Now, if you have a suspected contact, that to me is clear. I want you to go after that person. Right. What I'm concerned about is the reach beyond that affects innocent people.
So we agree at least on that part. And the next step, and I think in the debate that we actually need to talk about, is so what happens if you don't know he's in 312 yet? And so something happens, and now we say, who was he talking to? So let's take Midar. You had authorized us to get Midar's phones in California. But Midar was talking to the other 4 teams. Under the business record FISA, because we had stored that data in a database, we now have what we call reasonable articulable suspicion. We could take that number and go backwards in time and see who he was talking to. And if we saw there were 4 other groups, we wouldn't know who those people were. We'd only get the numbers. We'd say, this looks of interest, and pass that to the FBI. We don't look at the identities of it. We only look at the connections.
I'm way over time. I'm not going to dwell on it. You've just given a clear illustration where you had specific information about telephone contacts, which I don't quarrel with. What I quarrel with is collecting all of the information in California on telephone records to try to find that specific case. That, to me, seems overly broad.